In this video, I'm gonna teach you about array in Unity C#. You might say, what is an array? Imagine you need to create a mechanism for your game. The mechanism works like this, that a tree grows over time, which means at the beginning of the game, your tree looks like this, and then it becomes like this, and at the end, it looks like this. Creating such a mechanism is a piece of cake. All we need to do is create a game object and call it tree. And then bring all our different stages of tree under this. And then disable all of them. The mechanism is gonna work like this. At first it deactivates all game objects. Then it activates number 1, then deactivate it and activate number 2. Deactivate it again in order to activate number 3, and the list goes on. In order to create this mechanism, first we create a script and give it a name, such as growing or any name you enjoy. We attach it to our tree game object. We write serialized field game object stage 1. This variable is gonna hold the first stage of our tree. We repeat the line serialized field game object stage 2 semicolon enter. And in order to speed up, we simply use Ctrl D. And at the end, change the name of each variable. This is what even an amateur should avoid. Our code is terrible. So, in order to fix that, hold Alt and drag your mouse to select these area and delete it. In a situation like this, I mean when we have different variables and all of them are same type. In this case is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and all of them are game object. Instead of separating them by writing them in different line, we can separate them by writing a comma like stage 1, comma, stage 2, comma, stage 3, comma, and at the end write a semicolon. Now compare this line with the previous one. It's easier, shorter, and of course better. However, still this line sucks. As you can see, we created 5 different variables for game object. And if you look at the inspector, you see this piece of garbage. What if there was a way we created one single game object and keep all these variables in that one? Well, there is a way, and it's called array. We're gonna remove all these variables and turn them into one single game object array. How are we going to make an array? It's simple. Select your variable type, game object in this case, and write a square bracket after this. And get rid of the extras and write one single name, stages. And that's it. You just created your array. It's simple, tidy, and small, which makes it perfect. Now, in order to put all these game objects in our array, first we select our tree game object, click on this lock icon so we can block this inspector, and now select all these game objects and put them into this array. And we have them all here. Now you might have a question. If we put all these different game objects in one single array, how are we going to differentiate it? How are we going to have access to the one we need? For example, maybe I want to disable number 3 or number 1. As you can see, when you put any value data in your array, it receives one unique number that starts from 0 and works like an ID for that value. Now let me show you how it works. First, write the name of your array, stages. Now write the square brackets. Here you write the ID of that value. For example, I want to enable game object 2, which its ID is number 1. I write 1 in the middle of square brackets, then dot active equals to false. It gives me a green line. This means the line we are using is old. It's better to use something new, such as dot set active, open parentheses, false in the middle, semicolon. Duplicate this line. But this time we change the ID from 1 to 2, 3, 4. Now, when we run the game, any game object in the stage array with the ID from 1 to 4 will be disabled, except ID 0, which holds game object 1. And voila, as you can see, number 1 is active while others are deactivated. Now, let's write a code. We say, hey, Unity, every time I click on a space, we write if, open parenthesis, input dot get key down, open parenthesis again, key code dot space. Every time I clicked on a space, activate the next game object. It starts from number 0 and then 1, 2, 3 and go on. In order to do that, we first create an integer. It's gonna represent the array object that's gonna be activated. We call it int active stage equals to 0. We copy and paste this line. See? And change the false to true. It means when we give you ID of an array, you need to activate it. So we put active stage here. And then we say, hey, every time we click on a space, add one number to active stage. And then look at the ID in the stage group, the number in the stage group, whatever it is, activate it. Now we run the game. Right now it's 0. And as you can see, number 1 is activated. We click on a space, it becomes 1. And number 1, which is game object 2, is enabled. We click again, 2. Element 2 is game object 3. It's enabled. And the list goes on. However, there is a bigger problem. We wanted to disable the previous one. Well, how are we going to do this? It's actually pretty simple. We simply copy and paste this line, put it before active stage, change the true to false, and say, hey, before you add this number, check the ID, disable it, and then add 1, and then enable the new object. And it's working. It's disabling the previous one and enabling the next one. However, there is another problem. When our active stage surpasses the size of our array, which is 5, we see an error. How are we going to fix it? By using one simple line, and it's called if. We simply write if active stage is equals to, what's the size? 5. If it's equals to 5, set active stage, whatever it is, equals to 0. And now when we run the game, when we reach number 4 and it's going to become 5, because of if, it turns into 0. Now you might say, what if I don't want to check the size of my array every single time? In order to tell Unity to do it by itself, instead of writing the number, write name of your array, stages, dot length. And that's it. Unity checks the size of your array by itself. And as you can see, nothing changed, but it's on the surface. Our code just got even better. And that's it. That's everything you need to know about arrays. If you have any questions, comment it. If you have any suggestion, comment it. If you enjoyed this video, like this video. If you didn't enjoy this video, dislike this video. And until the next video, take care of yourself and have a fantastic and fabulous day.